conscientious young man. He exemplifies the ideals of character and scholarship. Jeremiah Montemayor is a member of our National Honor Society and has been involved in many worthwhile activities at our school. Jeremiah's teachers commend him for his quiet confidence, his quest for excellence, and his strength of character. His peers admire him for these qualities too. In the position of Corps Commander for our Junior Air Force ROTC program, Jeremiah focused on his leadership skills. He devoted countless hours to food drives and soup kitchens, and is currently cleaning up the local destruction of Hurricane Sandy as a member of our chapter of Habitat for Humanity. Jeremiah aspires to a career in aerospace engineering. With a 99.36 grade point average, Jeremiah is off to San Jose State University. Please join me in welcoming our valedictorian, Jeremiah Montemayor.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Ms. Buckeye, honored guests, parents, teachers, and graduates. Wait, hold on. Good evening. I would like to thank all of you for sharing this memorable moment in our lives. Fellow graduates, we made it. We certainly did. It's been an outstanding 4 years to think we got up 5 days a week, arrived at school by 8, and sometimes by 7. Had 8 periods each day and participated in after-school activities. When we arrived home, we could already smell the home cooking and would hear the supportive words, "How is your day?" Having parents who care is the best blessing in the world. So, I would like to ask all the graduates to turn around in your seats and look behind you. Then, I'd like to ask all the parents and guardians to rise up from your seats once again as we thank you with a round of applause. Please be seated. I am sure that I will miss my mom and her caring and appreciation, and my dad and his mentorship. And many of us can relate to those feelings. But now, we're ready to take another step in our lives and be responsible in our endeavors, whether it is college, military, or a job. Wherever life takes you from this point, from this evening, I know that we can all be successful as long as we work hard, persevere, and chase our dreams. According to a quote I once heard, change is inevitable, growth is optional. This means we are going to change, both physically and mentally. But it is a matter of our increasing maturity that will definitely direct us towards the real change in our lives. Today, I would like to speak about growth and change with 3 different examples. Now, the first example is his very speech. Back in March, I was told that I would be delivering a speech at graduation. And so, I gave myself until May 24th, a month before graduation. Seems right. Did I make that deadline? Unfortunately, no. Did I procrastinate? Unfortunately, yes. But wait, there it is. My weakness, procrastination. I have procrastinated numerous times in my high school career. I'm pretty sure many of us, if not all of us, have as well. But I learned something about my weakness in my junior year with Mr. Gagliano. With that final portfolio project, one of the most excruciating experiences of that year. Am I right? From that assignment, I realized that I was able to turn my weakness into a strength. I discovered that I work very well under pressure. So, that is what I want you to do. Learn to turn your weaknesses into strengths, or find ways to counteract your weaknesses. If you lack self-motivation, find friends that can motivate you. If you lack experience, find a mentor to guide you. You will find a way, and you can succeed. Next, as a person who learned and developed his leadership skills during high school, how can I not incorporate leadership into my speech? To be a respected leader is probably one of the toughest tasks to perform. From reading the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, an outstanding motivational speaker, I learned true leadership cannot be appointed, assigned, or awarded. It must be earned. Therefore, the second concept is developing your leadership abilities. Many would think that the higher you go in position, the more leadership experience you have. But let me share a short story that is quite the opposite about one of the finest men in history. During the Black Hawk War in 1832, this fine man gathered a group of men and was assigned as their commanding officer with the rank of captain. He had no prior military experience and knew nothing about strategies. Because of this, his leadership within his unit actually decreased, while other officers in his militia were able to prove they were better. By the end of the man's military service, he found himself where he belonged, at the rank of a lowly private. As a low-ranked individual, the man observed his commander's leadership, improved his own, and found his way into politics. Eventually, he earned a new title, President of the United States. And that was how Abraham Lincoln discovered that practice and perseverance is a powerful idea for leadership, as he went from commanding officer to private to commander-in-chief. Finally, the last example I would like to share is about failure. First, let's define the word failure. Some think it's the enemy. Others think it's a mark of disgrace. And many think it could be the end. Well, if you think that way, then you might need another definition. Did you know that Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times when creating the incandescent light bulb? But when asked about it, he said, "I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways how not to make a light bulb." He learned something from each failure and applied it all towards his one final way in making that remarkable invention. From reading another book by John Maxwell called Failing Forward, I have learned a new way of how to perceive and respond to failure. So, I share with you now this new definition. Failure is simply a price. A price we pay to achieve success. Can you imagine that 10 to 20 years from now, one of us may be finding the best cure for cancer, or developing a new green way of transportation, or signing new bills into Congress, or even being the first person to land on Mars? No matter what you're doing in 2033, you will have been slowed by obstacles, faced challenges, and made mistakes. In fact, if you don't make any mistakes whatsoever, then you're probably making the biggest one of all. The only real way to learn in life is to learn from a mistake, correct it, and move forward. Just know that your mistakes do not dictate failures. Once again, they are the price for your success. As I have said before, we will change. Change our addresses, change our appearances, change our goals. But learn to change any negatives into positives, and learn to take full responsibility over your actions and attitude. That is when you have known you've truly grown up. There is a biblical quote that has stuck with me throughout my life. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Well, here we are, grown up, ready to walk out these doors, ready to say goodbye, which is definitely one of the hardest things to say. So, one solution is, instead of saying goodbye, let's say hello. Hello to our new environment, our new set of challenges and responsibilities, and the new chapter in our lives. Fellow graduates, we are the class of 2013. We made it. We certainly did.